It's here. You're standing at the edge of history unfolding in real time, yet most people remain blind to what's about to break open. September has always been painted as the month of renewal, fresh starts, and clean slates. But this September refuses that script. This isn't a soft reset, it's a seismic shift. The kind that cracks open illusions, reveals truths you can't unsee, and stirs emotions you can't silence. What's arriving in the days ahead isn't about beginning again. It's about waking up fully, irreversibly. And after this, nothing will ever look the same. Most people won't be ready. Most will mistake this for just another shift in the seasons. But you're here, listening, because something in you already knows. You weren't meant to slip through September unnoticed, because what happens next will reveal why September always leads with a strike. September has always been the universe's ambush. Long before calendars and clocks, this was the month of reckoning. Crops were cut down, days grew shorter, and entire cultures marked it as a time when endings and beginnings collided in one violent sweep. That's why September hits harder than any New Year's resolution. It's the cosmos making its first move, not you. Every September the ground beneath you shifts. Old patterns collapse, routines fracture, and you're forced into a decision: either shed what's heavy or be dragged under by it. This is why people feel restless, why the air itself carries tension. You're not imagining it. You're standing inside the first blow of the year's biggest fight. And if you think this week is just about weathering it, you're already behind. Because one of the reasons this week matters is that it holds an event powerful enough to shift the entire month, maybe even the year. Music. On September 7th, into the 8th, the sky delivers what might be the single most unforgettable moment of the year. The total lunar eclipse. The blood moon. This isn't one of those passing events you can shrug off. This is the kind of night that etches itself into history. The kind of spectacle people talk about for decades. You don't get many of these in your lifetime, and when they arrive, everything seems to pause as if the entire universe is holding its breath. This eclipse isn't just about the shadow over the moon. It's about the weight of the moment, the strange intensity that comes with it. The timing couldn't be more potent. We're already in one of the most spiritually charged periods of the year, and this blood moon sits right at the heart of it. Think about what that means. The veil thinner, the energy sharper, the shifts unavoidable. Some nights you watch the sky. On nights like this, the sky watches you. There's a reason this eclipse has been circled on so many calendars. It isn't just an astronomical curiosity, it's an initiation, a marker, a line drawn in the sand. You will remember where you were, what you felt, and what crossed your mind as that shadow turned the moon into a glowing ember. And for some, that memory will become the turning point that changes the course of their life forever. So mark the date, because when the light returns, you won't look at yourself or the world the same way again. As September unfolds, something strange will begin to happen. Reality itself starts to bend at the edges. Logic slips, and things that shouldn't line up suddenly do. You'll notice bizarre coincidences stacking on top of each other, patterns you can't ignore. People saying things at the exact moment you were thinking. A song playing at the perfect second you needed it. What's unsettling is not the events themselves, it's how natural they begin to feel. At first you'll call them coincidences, but after the third, the fourth, the fifth time, you'll realize the universe isn't trying to surprise you. It's trying to speak to you. The unexplainable is only unexplainable until you live through it enough times. That's why I encourage you, keep a September journal. Write down every strange, impossible thing that crosses your path this first week. When you look back, you'll see the pattern emerge. You'll see the story the universe was weaving in real time. By the end of this week, what you once dismissed as random will start to feel like the new norm. And once your eyes adjust to that truth, you'll never unsee it again. On September 6th, something extraordinary happens. A rare meeting between Saturn and Neptune. Saturn, the builder, the architect of reality. Neptune, the dreamer, the visionary. the realm of imagination and spirit. Normally, these two energies live in separate worlds. Saturn draws the lines, Neptune blurs them. Saturn demands proof, Neptune whispers dreams. But when they collide, the impossible starts to take shape right before your eyes. This is the moment where imagination gets bones, where castles in the sky suddenly find their foundations in the earth. If you've been holding on to an idea that felt too wild, too far away, too untouchable, this is the week where the universe gives you a glimpse of how it could actually be real. Dreams die in the abstract. They live when you dare to build them. It's not just about wishful thinking. Saturn's influence forces clarity. It forces the dream to stand, to be tested, to be taken seriously. And Neptune softens those rigid edges, reminding Saturn that not all rules are final, not all limits are unbreakable. Together they create a doorway where what you imagine can actually meet the ground you stand on. Pay close attention to the ideas that cross your mind this week. Don't dismiss them as too big or too far away. Write them down, talk them out. You might notice tiny openings, chance meetings, small resources, sudden bursts of clarity that hint at how that dream could actually take shape. It doesn't mean everything gets handed to you overnight. It means the invisible steps start to become visible. This conjunction is rare, and it isn't just an astrological curiosity, it's a cosmic permission slip. The universe is showing you that the line between the life you have and the life you dream of is thinner than you ever believed. The question is, will you dare to step across it? One of the strangest and most unavoidable things about this first week of September is how quickly people around you will seem to transform. You'll notice it in the smallest exchanges. A friend who always laughed everything off suddenly goes quiet. A coworker who seemed indifferent now shows a burst of determination. Someone you trusted without question may feel strangely distant, while another you never expected might appear with unexpected loyalty, protection or wisdom. At first it may feel disorienting, like the social map you relied on has been redrawn overnight. But here's the truth. It's not that people suddenly became someone else. It's that September's intensity strips away the masks, the performances, the subtle disguises we all wear. The eclipse forces a revelation, and in that revelation, you see not just who people are now, but who they've always been, hidden in plain sight. Sometimes people don't change at all. Sometimes you just finally see clearly. That clarity can be liberating, but it can also be shocking, because the illusions we hold about others are often comforting. We tell ourselves that someone will always be dependable, or that another person will always remain in the background. But when those illusions collapse, you're forced to confront the living truth. People are not static. Their roles in your life are not permanent. And this week, the stage is being rearranged in ways you couldn't have scripted. Don't be surprised if long-standing dynamics dissolve in a flash. Friend groups may fracture. A mentor may suddenly feel irrelevant. A partner may reveal a side of themselves you never expected. At the same time, entirely new connections might appear from nowhere. Someone you barely noticed before might suddenly play a pivotal role in your story. It's unsettling, but it's also alignment. The universe is showing you through these sudden shifts who is meant to walk with you into what's next, and who is not. What makes this week so powerful is that you won't have to guess anymore. The subtleties, the hidden signals, the quiet betrayals or unspoken loyalties, all of it will rise to the surface with undeniable force. It may hurt to realize you misjudged someone. It may shock you to see someone you underestimated reveal their strength. But the eclipse energy doesn't lie, and it doesn't negotiate. It shows you the truth, even if it makes you uncomfortable. This isn't people leaving you behind. It's the universe putting people where they belong. And remember, this isn't just about others. People around you will also see you differently. The mask you've worn, the role you've played, the expectations you've carried, they'll fall away too. Some might not recognize the version of you that emerges this week. They may resist it, they may question it, or they may finally see a strength in you they never noticed before. So if you wake up one morning and feel like your relationships are shifting beneath your feet, don't panic. This is the chemistry of the cosmos at work. September isn't just changing you, it's changing the entire network you're woven into. And though it may sting in the moment, it's only clearing the space for connections that actually match who you're becoming. By the time this week ends, look closely at who remains, who steps forward, and who quietly exits. Because those movements are not random. They are the universe in real time rearranging the cast of your story. And once that shift happens, nothing about your relationships, past, present, or future, will look the same again. This week will test you in one of the most intimate battlegrounds of all. The space between your mind and your gut. You're going to find yourself in situations where every logical reason points one way, but something deeper, something wordless inside of you, is whispering the opposite. And the tension between those two voices might feel almost unbearable. It could be as simple as a choice you're about to make. The numbers line up. The facts make sense. Everyone around you agrees. Yet something in your chest feels tight, uneasy, resistant. Or it could be the reverse. Nothing looks rational on paper. Everything screams this is reckless. But you feel that unmistakable pull toward it anyway. This is the contradiction of September's energy. The clash between Saturn's strict order and Neptune's boundless intuition still echoing in the air. Logic is the voice of safety. Intuition is the voice of truth. Neither voice is wrong, but this week forces you to notice which one actually moves you. Logic will always give you the answer that keeps you comfortable. Intuition will give you the answer that keeps you aligned. And sometimes alignment feels far from comfortable. What's happening right now is not random. When you feel that inner argument rising, that tug of war between your brain and your spirit, don't rush to silence it. Sit with it. That conflict is the lesson. The universe is not trying to confuse you. It's trying to sharpen you. It's asking, do you trust the numbers, or do you trust yourself? You'll find that the more you lean into those moments, the more clear it becomes that intuition isn't some vague mystical whisper. It's your inner compass pointing you toward the life logic can't see. And once you learn to hear it, once you give it room to speak, it will cut through the noise with a clarity that no rational explanation can match. This week, keep track of those clashes. Write them down. When your head says one thing and your gut says another, note, because later, maybe days, maybe weeks, you'll see why that inner nudge mattered. You'll realize that the argument between logic and intuition wasn't a distraction. It was training. It was preparing you to recognize, without hesitation, the sound of your own truth. And once you know that voice, it becomes impossible to betray yourself again. We live in a world obsessed with adding more goals, more dreams, more visions to manifest, more things to attract. But September's energy is asking you to do something far more radical and far more uncomfortable. This week it's not about calling something in, it's about letting something go. Think about it. The eclipse, the conjunctions, the sudden shifts in relationships, they all share the same hidden theme. The stage is being rearranged. Sometimes the only way to step into a bigger role is to first drop the script you've been clutching for too long. Manifestation isn't always about gain. It's about making space for what's real. So here's the challenge. Instead of spending this week focusing on what you want to manifest, choose one thing you're ready to unmanifest. One thing you've been carrying, maybe even without realizing it, that no longer belongs in your life. It could be something obvious, like a responsibility that drains you, a toxic connection, or a habit you know is eating at you. But it could also be something subtle, a grudge you've been holding, a role you've been performing, or an identity that feels safe but secretly suffocates you. The act of letting go is not passive, it's an act of power. It's standing in the middle of all this September intensity, and saying, I choose to create space. Because here's the truth. Energy doesn't flow into a cluttered field. New beginnings don't grow in soil that's overcrowded with weeds. And when you consciously release something, even just one thing, you create a ripple effect. That grudge you release, suddenly, conversations feel lighter. That responsibility you finally set down, suddenly, you have time for what actually matters. That identity you shed, suddenly, The universe can show you the person you were always meant to be. This week, make it intentional. Don't wait for the universe to rip something away. Offer it freely. Write it down. Burn it. Say it out loud. Hand it over. Because the spiritual practice of this season isn't about stacking dreams higher and higher. It's about clearing the stage, so that the right players, the right story, and the right future can walk in. And remember, what you release doesn't vanish into nothing. It transforms. Energy never dies. It only shifts. By letting it go, you're not losing. You're redirecting. And that's when the real magic enters. There are weeks where kindness feels like a nice thing to do. And then there are weeks like this one, where kindness becomes a force of nature. Where one small act of compassion doesn't just make someone's day. It rewrites entire chains of events in ways you may never fully see. This first week of September is vibrating with intensity. Eclipses, conjunctions, emotional resets. People are stretched thin, frayed at the edges, and many won't even know why they're so on edge. That's where kindness becomes something more than politeness. It becomes alchemy. Compassion is the kind of magic that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. Think about it. You forgive someone this week, not because they deserve it, but because you choose peace. That forgiveness lifts a weight from you, but it also alters the way they show up in their next conversation, and in the next after that. A chain reaction is. Or maybe you pause to really listen to someone who feels invisible. That moment of presence could be the exact proof they needed that they matter. And that proof can change the trajectory of their choices, their confidence, their entire path forward. This week the spiritual field is amplifying everything. Words, intentions, emotions, they all carry further than usual, which means that even the smallest gestures, letting someone merge in traffic, sending that text you've been putting off, leaving encouragement instead of silence, become seeds in an energetic soil that's unusually fertile. And those seeds don't stay where you planted them. They spread. One gentle choice today can echo as a miracle tomorrow. It's important to realize this. Kindness this week won't always feel easy. In fact, you may notice the opposite. Tensions are high. Relationships are shifting. Intuition is clashing with logic. The urge to close yourself off, to be sharp, to guard your energy, that will be strong. But that's exactly why kindness becomes revolutionary. Right now, choosing it when it's hard is what multiplies its power. Don't underestimate how far your reach extends. The forgiveness you give may stop a cycle of resentment from spiraling. The encouragement you offer may give someone the strength to hold on one more day. The softness you show in a moment of chaos may become the memory that gets someone through their own storm. This is the hidden blessing of September's turbulence. It cracks people open, and when people are cracked open, the light of kindness doesn't just seep in, it floods. Your act might feel small in the moment, but in a month, in a year, in ways you'll never even know, its echo will still be shaping lives. So don't hold it back, offer it freely. This is the week where a single word, a single gesture, a single act of unexpected compassion could ripple across realities far bigger than your own. Growth has never been about looking graceful. It's not about neatly checking boxes or smiling your way through every transformation. Real growth is raw, it's chaotic. And this week, with all the cosmic tension rippling through September, growth may feel especially messy, like stumbling forward in the dark, bumping into parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. Evolution doesn't ask for your comfort, it asks for your courage. This first week of September is pulling you through thresholds you can't tiptoe across. Saturn and Neptune are colliding, eclipses are shaking the sky, and the ground under your feet doesn't feel steady. What that means for you is simple. Don't expect to feel polished or put together. Growth might feel awkward. You may second-guess yourself, backtrack, change directions halfway, or even feel like you're failing. But failure isn't what's happening. What's happening is motion. And motion, any motion at all, is the proof that you're not stuck. Think about how children grow, stumbling, falling, making mistakes, getting messy. That's how adults grow too. We just forget it, because we expect ourselves to have it all figured out. But this week, The universe doesn't care about your figured out. It cares about your willingness to move. Even if the move looks clumsy, even if your hands shake as you do it, growth doesn't look like perfection. It looks like progress in disguise. You might feel vulnerable. You might even feel exposed, as if every flaw, every insecurity, every doubt is being dragged into the light. And maybe they are. But vulnerability is the soil where breakthroughs root themselves. That discomfort you're feeling isn't proof that you're going the wrong way. It's proof that you're breaking out of an old pattern that no longer fits. This week, don't waste your energy trying to keep it all clean. Don't fight the fact that things feel scattered. Let it be messy. Let the pieces fall where they need to. Because the mess isn't the enemy. It's the evidence that you're moving forward instead of staying trapped in the old cycle. The irony is, one day soon you'll look back at this exact week, the week you thought you were stumbling, and realize you were sprinting toward your next self the whole time. Mess is not a setback. Mess is the fingerprint of transformation. So don't resist the awkwardness. Don't fight the vulnerability. This is not the week to aim for perfection. This is the week to allow the cracks, the spills, the slips. Because in all that you'll see the truth. Growth doesn't come dressed like success. It comes dressed like chaos. And only those willing to walk through it will claim the strength waiting on the other side. The biggest mistake you could make right now is to think you're the only one going through it. This week is not some private storm set aside just for you. It's a wave crashing over the entire planet. Every single person, no matter their background, their belief system or their daily routines, is feeling some piece of this energy. Some might call it chaos. Others might call it awakening. But no matter what name you give it, the truth is simple. You are not alone in this. September doesn't separate us. It synchronizes us. Think about it. That heavy feeling in your chest, the restless thoughts, the strange bursts of hope, followed by uncertainty. It's not just your inner world spinning. It's the collective field humming at a frequency that everyone is being pulled into. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction, the total lunar eclipse, the energy of endings and beginnings colliding. It's hitting every soul in one way or another. Some will resist it, some will deny it, some will lean straight into it, but no one escapes it. Here's the powerful part. When millions of people are pushed into this heightened state all at once, something extraordinary happens. The individual struggles, the private questions, the hidden fears, they start to weave together. What you thought was your personal battle is actually part of a global turning point. Your chaos is connected to 1,000 other transformations happening in real time. So when you feel that pressure, when you feel those sleepless nights, or sudden surges of emotion, know that your neighbor is feeling it too. The stranger on the other side of the world is feeling it. The collective pulse is rising. And in that shared vibration there's strength. Suddenly, what felt overwhelming becomes unifying. What felt like isolation becomes belonging. September is not asking you to carry this alone. It's asking you to remember that you're part of a storm that is meant to move humanity forward. This is why unity matters more than ever. A kind word to someone in passing. A moment of understanding instead of judgment. Even a silent recognition that we're all in this together. Those things multiply under energy like this. The more we lean on one another, the less heavy the storm feels. Individual awakening is powerful, but collective awakening is unstoppable. This week is going to prove that truth. And once you realize that the weight on your shoulders is being lifted at the same time as millions of others, you'll see that what looks like chaos is actually the start of momentum. September isn't here to break us. It's here to link us. The collective is rising. And whether you feel ready or not, you are part of that rise. Years from now, when you look back at 2025, this week will stand out, not for its comfort, but for how it cracked something open that can't be closed again. This isn't just another page on the calendar. It's a threshold that divides the before from the after. What's revealed now will ripple across the rest of the year. The choices you make, and the courage you show in these days, will shape everything that comes next. Human memory holds on to the turning points. This is one of them. So stay awake, pay attention to the signs. Even when the weight feels heavy, remember this truth. Transformation never asks for your permission, And by the end of 2025 you'll look back and know it all began here. If you're still here, thank you for walking this path with me. If the message resonated, and you'd like more, tap that subscribe button. Your support means more than words can say. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay aware, stay guided, and subscribe to the Eternal Sage for deeper insights ahead.